calling you a radical. Remember. Nuclear energy is clean, green, liars. The 6th of November. So, the 6th of November. Remember, and by the way, I'm changing the Million Mass March back to what I wanted it originally to be. I wanted to march on March 10th, March 11th. Starting the night of March 10th into the 11th. March all night. So that's what I'm changing it back to, what I originally wanted. I agreed to, John Anthony and Wendy wanted on 5th of November, and I get that, and you know, it worked. Well, I want to say this. All the Million Mass Marchers, ooh, what the hell was that? One of the F-16s just blew, they're right there. Holy shit. I want to say this to all the original Million Mass Marchers who are the anti-police brutality movement. Fukushima. The ones that are still alive. Sarah's dead. Michael Pennington's dead. I go on so many of them that are gone. Take a minute, have a shot of tequila, pat yourself out, have an ice cream cone, whatever you do to reward yourself. Just smile at yourself. I want to say to every one of you, thank you. We're going to get no credit, but what we were able to accomplish, you know, of course Black Lives Matter stole it. 3 women with a hashtag? Okay. When we bled in the streets of Ogden, Utah, Salt Lake City, Danielle Willard, Matthew Stewart. When we bled in the streets of Baltimore, when we bled in the streets of Brooklyn, I can't breathe. Hands up, no nukes. Hands up in the streets of Cleveland, Ohio. Jail the killer cops. In the streets of Washington, D.C. Holy shit. We moved the world. 7 million people. I started that movement. It's called the Post-Ignorance Project. With John Anthony Fairhurst and Wendy Williams in D.C., we joined together. And we'll get no credit. But the anti-police brutality movement, oh, you don't think right where I'm standing? Killed Matthew Stewart, killed another cop, cop shot cop. Hung him in a jail cell for what, a marijuana plant? He worked right there. The night shift at Walmart, a vet. His father, a decorated vet. Danielle Willard, beautiful. Cop shoots her in the face for just being in the car. Dropping some dude she hardly even knew off. Just murderous shit. All the fighting we did, we're the ones that changed police forces. We're the ones that changed it. We're the ones that shut down 40-something nuclear reactors in the United States. Oh, we did it. The Million Mass March. So take a minute and reward yourself. We're going to get no credit, and that's how you know when you're successful. When Donovan Mitchell running around with the Utah State, and he's got a list of people that shot with a bulletproof vest, and not one single Utah one. Utah is the murder by cop capital of the world in that era. It's not now. We changed the world. Hands up, no nukes. Remember. So the 6th of November is when Obama and crew retooled the Fukushima cover-up. John Holdren in the Situation Room, Rahm Emanuel, all of them. Abby, what happened to Abby? Ooh, karma's a motherfuckers, all I gotta say. I mean, sad. We don't believe in violence. They do. Out in the street, that's where we did meet. So, took on a bunch of rats. We changed the world. So, Emmanuel, all those guys that run the cover-up of Fukushima, we got it handled. We can do this. They realized in November 2013, I'm standing right in front of the White House. Here comes TEPCO. We got videos. In to retool. Remember, they fired the Secretary of the DOE, which is the Department of Nuclearism Murders, and brought in Ernest Moxie Fuel. And they went into full-blown cover-up. That was on the 6th of November, 2013. Never forget that. Guiltless in gold, casting in concrete. And I want, again, Sarah, that photograph I took with her that day, I like how they label it Black Lives Avenue, and that's right where we originally marched. The Post-Ignorance Project was started many years ago. 10-10-10 is when I hit the last stroke on my book, but the Million Mass March started in 2012. Actually, we're in 2011, the day of the Fukushima meltdown. March 10th, 11th, 2011 is when it started. You know, we evolved on the death of Danielle Willard. Matthew Stewart was killed in January of 2011. I was in a bone marrow transplant center going in and out of a coma when they murdered him. And murdered Janet, by the way. No knock warrants. Before there was Breonna Taylor, there was Matthew Stewart. And they co-opted it. Black Lives Matter, fair and square, stole it. I was standing on Black Lives Matter's Avenue, which that's originally where we marched, and I did all that work for all of them, many. Been there since 1977, the Peace Vigil. They're selling shirts. And I pull out the tags. I says, look where the tags are made. Are you unconscious? They're made by childhood slaves in bunkers in Indonesia. We don't buy. We buy used everything. 1975. You wish you had this at Powder Mountain. He says, I'll trade you a ski pass for that. I'm like, fuck, please. It's worth way more than that. So, hands up. No nukes. Let's go to the fucking swap meet. Oh, they're tearing that down too. Anything good and organic goes. The Million Mass March was invented in Ogden, Utah. That's an unarguable fact. On the death, on the murder of Danielle Willard. Remember I used to carry that picture of her, Danielle Willard, in the streets of D.C. In the streets of Brooklyn on chokeholds. Driving a young man around, letting him fly around, snapping his neck in Baltimore, Maryland. The murder of a young guy in Cleveland. Ferguson, we were there. All of us, we were there. The Million Mass was always there. We did the dirty work in the trenches. We'll get no credit. So I want to say this to everybody who's passed away. They marginalized us. They impoverished us. They slandered us. They arrested us. They beat us down. But we won. They co-opted our movement. They stole our money. They stole our glory. They stole our thunder. But all we ever wanted, the Million Mass March, was our peace of mind. Whether it's here or in the next place. What your life matters and what you accomplish matters. Again, everybody in the Million Mass March, especially all that original crew, Steve Grant, John Anthony Fairhurst, Michael Pendleton's gone, Sarah, I go on and on and on. All of you. Larry, you know, after they murdered his brother, you know, cops. Take a minute. Take a minute and reflect. Pat yourself on the back. What we accomplished, we moved the world. It's incredible. The shutting down of San Onofre, the nuclear, we did that. It's the greatest accomplishment in grassroots activists in history. Bar none. Hands up. No nukes. We don't believe in violence. They do. So, they could all rot in hell. Let's go to the swap meet. Find something good today. So, hands up. No nukes. If it's good, best day that ever went on my life. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. Oh, that girl. We didn't watch much of the movie. Wow. So, thank you to everybody who's fought the police brutality, who's fought the nuclear energy crime syndicate. Danielle Willard, Matthew Stewart, San Onofre, kick that domino down. Fukushima. So I'm changing it back to where it originally should be. The march will be on March 10th and March 11th. By way, full moon all week this week on the California coast. I'm going to try to get there. Full moon on Monday. Huh. Hands up, no nukes, they intended. Hands up. No hoops. Stay in tune.